Well, that's a loaded question. So let me just try to break it down by saying this. We are first biological beings, and right after our biological birth, we become psychological beings and we interact with our earliest caregivers. And because of that very pivotal stage in our lives called early childhood, we get indoctrinated with our parents' conditioning. Whether we like it or not, those early years are so absorbent, like sponges. We absorb and imbue our parents' way of thinking, their trauma, their pain, their childhoods, and it kind of comes through the milk we drink in those early years. And that creates the basis and the footprint of our psychological self. If those conditions, and most of them typically are unconscious and filled with lies, you are not worthy, you need to be skinny, you need to look a particular way, you need to acquire certain assets to be worthy, those misbeliefs seep into our foundational blueprint, and they interact with us every moment of our lives, influencing our capacity to manifest our highest potential. So you and I do the same kind of work. We help our people rewire and re-examine those early conditionings. So to awaken means to do the inner work, to understand the template we were given from childhood and kind of examine each one and go, is this a powerful template? Does it allow me to be free, or does it engage me? And one by one, we do the work to deconstruct all that influences us in our minds.
Love it. So what I heard, and I'd love your confirmation or discussion around this, is we're basically born a clean slate without any beliefs, whether it's empowering or disempowering, constructive, destructive, positive or negative. We're not born with a self-image of how good we are or how terrible we are, or whether we're worthy or not. We learn that from our parents, our teachers, the environment, the meanings that we give things, and that creates the and I'll use my terms, the subconscious patterns that then drive our behaviors, expectations, and of course our results. Would that be an accurate way of saying what you just said?
Yes, so let me just nuance it. We do come with a temperament, and every parent will say this. This one, it came out, spitting fire, and this one came out just calm and zen. So there is a temperament. So it's not like we are just completely to be influenced by the earth and the surroundings. So we come with a temperament, but that's our essence. I call it our essence, our unique nature. But we definitely don't come with belief systems. So all belief systems come from the external world. And the Buddha talked about enlightenment being the state where you have no beliefs, where you have no views, because those beliefs really obstruct our capacity to manifest who we authentically can be. So we both agree that these conditionings need to be re-examined. And if people are not seeking to re-examine their earliest belief systems, they will stay stuck and in a groove of the same dysfunctional patterns over and over again. I always say, we don't live a life, we live a pattern. And you and I are both helping people to interrupt those patterns, disrupt them, and plant new ones in their place.
I love it. So I'm going to shift over for just a moment to neuroplasticity, right? Which, many years ago when we were born, probably when you and I were kids, we believe we were hardwired, and we, came to this earth and we're just like our mother or just like our father, and we can't change, and we're not making new connections or new brain cells for that matter. And that's been, shattered many, many years ago. So from your vantage point and expertise, is it possible at any age to change?
It is possible at any age to change. but it is extremely difficult to do that work that it takes. So why is it so difficult? Because again, those early years set the foundational blueprint, and those patterns groove themselves into our psyche. And from my vantage, what I teach people is that because we were not met for our authentic selves, we were not validated for who we truly were in our essence, our parents told us we should be a certain way. We created a false sense of self, which I call the ego. And the ego got created to buy, to purchase our parents' approval, validation, and permission to be. And in some of us, we created the ego of the comedian. In some of us, it got created as a super achiever. In some of us, it was a people pleaser. So, like puppets, we began to morph into who our parents wanted us to be because we were told subliminally that who it is we were wasn't good enough. If you look at the state of childhood today, every child is given the message that they need to become something, that they need to do something to arrive at a destination called worth. This is an unconscious conditioning that we all have. Like you and I believe, I'm using the word believe, we don't have a self-image when we come into this world. We just are. We are pure state, pure essence, pure energy, whatever you want to call it. And we don't have this dualistic idea of good or bad. All that is fed into us. So this ego now is hungry, and it keeps foraging the earth for approval, validation, and praise. We find it in the substances, we find it in the Botox, in the surgery, in the partner, in the cars. But here's the truth. It can never be found there because our self-worth is something that is internally replenished, internally grown. And for me, the work I do with people is to take them back, to shred their ego, to strip the ego masks, to realize that what they were looking for all these years was right here. So for my work with people, it's a journey back home.
So it's a journey back to what is already there, but may have been congested with ideologies, whether it's social ideologies, parental ideologies, and all of the junk that is obscuring the core of this beautiful essence, wonderfulness that you already are. And I totally love that and believe it. I personally believe that we're all spiritual beings. We have emotions, we have mental capacities, we have this physical body, but somehow throughout our lives, some of the constructs, get blurred, and we have these wrong ideas or disempowering ideas that move us away from that spiritual essence and beauty that we all are already. So I love that. How would somebody and I'm sure people are saying that sounds so good, but how do I get to that? How do I get to that part? Because we all have glimpses of it. We all have these moments where we feel, amazing. We're in flow. We feel one with that which created us. Versus having to do something or say something or acquire something. How do we get back to more of that?
Most of us don't do it voluntarily because most of us are not seekers because we don't even know that's possible. So the most beautiful thing about life is that it's really painful. And pain, fighting with our kids, yelling at them, the divorce, the separation, the job loss, the weight gain, the terminal illness, all the pain points in our lives are opportunities where the ego cannot work anymore. You see, the reason we enter pain is because our ways of the ego are just getting messed up. The ego isn't working. If the ego kept working, we'd be okay. But when we hit those interpersonal pain points, or those intrapersonal pain points, those are the opportunities, the portals where we have the invitation to ask ourselves, okay, what am I resisting? how can I use this moment to stop the pattern because it's not working anymore. So parenthood is really one long pain portal where we get opportunity after opportunity to examine the self. And that's why I teach conscious parenting. It's not because I love children, it's because I know that that journey is the one which is going to lambast the parental ego. Because by child number 2 or 3, there's going to be someone who's just not going to follow the script. So our egos, you see, are trying to protect us because we were so hurt in childhood, because we were not seen for who it is we are. So now, every time that pain re-emerges, we have 2 choices: to go stronger in ego, like go even more forceful with that ego, or we tried the ego, damn it, the ego is not working anymore. And that's why people who are at their deathbed really get it, because they know there's no more fight. I can't fight with this ego anymore. So what is something I can do instead? And what we can do instead is take the invitation to surrender. And with every pain portal, if we learn to say, what about me is in resistance? What about me can let go right now? Each surrender is a step back to the essence, which is devoid of ego. So the whole point for me of life is shredding that ego, seeing the ego everywhere. You know, when people begin to awaken, they begin to realize, they get claustrophobic because they realize, damn, the ego is everywhere. And then they see everybody else's ego and they're like, I have no place to run. So it's not about running away from the ego or other people's ego. It's about observing it, witnessing it, and then transcending it. And there is that process that we can go through, which allows us to live a different way, to live less and less in ego.
I love it. And this is a skill that everyone can learn. I want to ask you a question around fear. And then we'll come back to that as well. A lot of people fear, whether it's, I fear failure. I fear being embarrassed or ashamed or ridiculed or judged or rejected or unloved. And there's this current underlying their existence, and they're doing more to avoid those things versus doing what is necessary to feel whole. Because fear is a natural part. It's one of the most highly evolved parts of our brain that is there to protect us. Yet so many people fear. What do you share with people who are like, this sounds all great, but I'm afraid of blank, or they want to ask for a raise, they want to ask something of their partner, they want to increase their whether it's their income in business, but they're afraid that they might fail. What do you say to that person who wants to go there, but fear is driving their life?
Right. So that is all their ego talking. The ego is afraid of the other. The ego is afraid of rejection. And that's why the ego is in place. It's to protect us from being rejected. Our authentic self, our awakened self, our essence doesn't have fear because it doesn't ask for, am I good or am I bad? The questions that the authentic self asks are not, do you love me? Am I worthy? Do you see me? Those questions were created in us because that authentic self was not seen. If we had had parents, right, in the ideal world, who just allowed us to be, right, rose to rose, giraffe to giraffe, just be, and we had nothing to achieve, nothing to do to be seen for who it is we were, then we would not begin those questions of, do you see me? Do you hear me? The hunger is created because our parents had the same hunger. So they are trying to see themselves, they were trying to see themselves through us. So now we are empty, we're like, okay, who's going to see me? So now we forage and we predate to be seen by others. And we're all begging to be seen. The authentic, original, awakened self, our essence, doesn't ask these questions. So the more we can wisely understand that the false self asks to be approved. The false self needs to be told they're beautiful and amazing and a superstar. The true self doesn't need it. The true self lives in cosmic union with this vast, beautiful universe and sees itself no better than a grain of sand. or even the tiniest particle. So the true self has wisdom to understand I am as irrelevant as a grain of sand. So I don't need to be told I'm worthy, but I am part of the cosmos. So there comes my beauty. But the true self doesn't seek external validation because it just is. The false self is hungry all the time. Do you love me? Do you see me? Are you my mother? Are you going to love me like my mother? And it's insatiable. And wisdom, the epiphany, the awakening comes when you realize, oh my goodness, I don't need to be in false self because I have the true self. I just need to reconnect to it. And that journey is one that cannot be spoken about, cannot be listened to with ears. It needs to be undertaken. And sadly, it can only be undertaken, really, 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 only be undertaken in solitude, in quietude, when you declare that this life of mine is going to be a journey back to my true self, and I need to go discover that part of me. You need to shut out from the world. I went for my first intense meditation retreat when I was 21, and I discovered these truths there. The beautiful thing about this energy is that when you quieten it down, you touch it, but you have to be that quiet.
Yeah. I love what you're saying because a lot of what we teach in our Inner program is mindfulness, awareness, without judgment, blame, shame, guilt, or justification, just pure awareness. And then in meditation, and I do yearly silent retreats for 3 to 5 days. So I know a little bit about what you're talking about, because that's where you realize I am already one with that which created me, which is everything, all knowing, all loving, all caring. And I really don't need outside or outside people to tell me how good I am or you are. With that in mind, I also believe that spirit is for fuller expression and expansion of itself. And my question for you is, in the world that we live in, where, let's say we want to write books, we want to share with others. I know that I feel good when I share with others, and it gives my life more purpose and meaning. And I'm sure it's part ego, maybe even a big part ego. And I'm sure, that there's the other part of I just want everybody to love their life and to appreciate the sanctity of life and creation. When people want to, become more, have more, enjoy their lives more for themselves, their families, and for others, where does that fit in, to ego? If we want to, let's say, write a book so we can share it with the world, or we want to do a brain-a-thon to share it with the world, to open whatever needs to be opened, if anything needs to be opened, with other people. Where does that fit into wanting to be more, to experience more?
When you've done the work and you are in touch with your true self and you are filling your inner holes and you're becoming whole, WHOLE, then when you share, like what we're doing right now, it comes with a different intentionality and a different energy. We're not doing it, I hope, so much out of a greed or a craving or the numbers or the quantity. It comes from a more essential place of abundance and gratitude and humility. So again, you can write a book and only care about how it does and the reviews, or you can write a book because it is truly a manifestation of your creative potential, and then you release it like a child out into the world. You don't follow it, you don't track it, you don't keep reading the comments, you let it go. Because if the intention was to share, once the book is done, it's done, right? So every time I get caught up in what is my rank of the book, I have to remind myself, you didn't do it for how it will be received. You did it because you wanted to share. So it's very different energy, and you keep realigning with that. You can do a lot, but you do it with a very clear intentionality that you're doing it for an expansion of yourself, and any want beyond that is ego, right? I want the other to change. I want people to become better. All that is our ego, because they are exactly where they're meant to be. They are.
I love that. And what popped into my head is intention, attention, no tension. And that's in the surrender, allow, accept, release. and then just come back to the authentic self of love and care and kindness and being more than enough is a good frame. We have about a minute or so left. Are there any daily practices that you do just to remember, just to come back to remembering that authentic self that we all are and have within us?
Yes, I mean my everyday is quite if people looked at it would think it's selfish because it's more grounded in my connection to myself, to my present moment, to nature, to the free dopamine that nature gives me, to my body, and then I'll include a few people into the day. Of course, my first person of choice is my child because children are so full of essence. Again, I'm selfish. I'm like, I want to hang out with my kid. But I'm very clear about what fills me up and what can take me away from my center. So I very selfishly, if you want to call it, filled with myself, focus on these things. And why do I do that? Is because when I'm really filled up, then I am not predating on anyone's energy. I am not harming anyone's essence. And if anything, I'm helping, supporting, bolstering, and celebrating. But it can only happen with many hours devoted to filling this up.
I love it. I call that taking time every day to inspire you so that you can give some of that away because you're so full with the spirit that's within you. And so I absolutely love that. You keep firing off my neurons of stuff. I could talk with you for many hours. I know we're going to get a chance to do some more training, but for now, I want to thank you so much for being on the 10th annual Brainathon celebration. And this is really a party celebrating your authentic self and coming back to your true essence and playing the game of life from that place. So thank you for honoring us and for giving us some of your light and wisdom. I appreciate you very much.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
I love it. All right, everyone, if you've enjoyed that as much as I just did, please type a little thank you in the chat for Dr. Shefali, and we'll put links for everybody to where you can get all of her stuff. But look her up. She's got some amazing work on finding your authentic self and on being an amazing parent. Amazing stuff on her website also. We'll give you all links a little bit later. Dr. Shefali, thank you so very much.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, did you love that? How incredible was that interview with Dr. Shefali? Drop a comment in the chat below right now if you loved that interview. We want to hear from you. We want to hear how you're enjoying today, how you're enjoying it so far. I can see so many people flying in here in the chat, enjoying themselves. Keep those comments coming in. We appreciate everyone. And when you share this on social media and you hashtag Brainathon, when you share, you grow, because that is how we learn. That's how we evolve, when we share with the world. So make sure you are sharing your favorite moments from today on social media. My favorite quote has to be from what we just saw: turn your pain into your power. I love that. So good. We've all been through challenges, right? We've all experienced pain in various forms, but with the right coaching, you can turn your pain and trauma into the most powerful success. So if you want to be coached and mentored by John and our team of master experts, the link is there for you now. Don't waste another moment. Commit today. Make a decision. Hit that link below. So let me ask you this. How amazing would it feel to spend Monday on your boat and spend Tuesday on the beach and spend Wednesday just riding your bike? Well, what our next guest has achieved, not bad for a high school dropout who spent part of her life sleeping on the floor because she couldn't afford a bed. How did she bridge that massive gap? She says it's all thanks to the brain unlocking secrets she discovered inside Inner Size and winning the game of money. You guys are gonna absolutely adore her. You are in for such a treat right now. She is full of sass, full of life. Her story, her passion, give it up in the chat. Let's show some love. Brenda Van Salisbury.
All right, so with me is Brenda Van Salisbury, and she went from being a physiotherapist, which she did for many, many years, to the CEO of $1 million a year business, Freedom Rehab. And now she's here on our Brainathon to talk about her journey. Now, welcome to the Brainathon, Brenda.
Thank you, John. So happy to be a part of it.
So I love your story because you went from being a physiotherapist, helping people. So I know you got a big, giant heart, and you decided you wanted to be an entrepreneur. What made you want to make the leap from being a physiotherapist to being the CEO of your own company?
You know, I had done it for so many years and it became very repetitious. And the passion in my job was fading. And I just started to get disheartened. And I just had this nagging feeling that things could be better. And that just, I got the bug. And
You got the
just
bug.
knew that I knew I needed to do something.
Did you have the training and the skills to be an entrepreneur and to start your own business when you started?
I couldn't be any further from the truth. I am a high school dropout, lived very above the poverty line, just basically. I've unloaded trucks in my past. I've lived without heat. I've had, very, very hard times. So, having a successful business was not something I thought was for someone like me. It was just, getting myself together and getting my college education and becoming a therapist. Even that was more than I ever thought I could do. So when it came time to starting a business, I had no business experience whatsoever, and I didn't have the mindset of somebody that could be a major player. That was just for someone like John Assaraf, not for someone like Brenda Van Salisbury.
I love it. I remember you sharing a story with me before we wanted to have you on, and you said at one point in your life you were sleeping on the floor. Like, what caused you to sleep on the floor?
Well, we had moved from one apartment with no heat into another apartment with no heat, and we lost our help for moving. So we wound up moving with no bed. And so 1 month became 2 months, became 3 months, became 6 months that we couldn't afford to buy a new bed. And we literally slept on the floor while we were saving up the money so that we could have a bed. So it was very depressing, but it just made me have grit and tenacity and drive to just be better. I knew that there was more to life than that, and that's what's carried me to today.
And I know that you had found some of the work that I do on YouTube, and then you decided to invest in the Winning the Game of Money brain training and coaching program to basically recalibrate and reset your own mindset, to upgrade your skill set. What happened once you started to do that? Or were you able to like just dive in?
Well, first of all, the fact that I went and made the decision to start a business threw my husband into a tailspin. When I told him I wanted to open a business and run it from my home, he said, over my dead body, not happening, not open for discussion. So naturally, I opened up a business and ran it from my home. But it was scary because he was the head of the household in the regards that he took care of the money. So I only went on to my bank account if rarely. I didn't pay the bills. I didn't even know what my mortgage payment was. So I was like a 1950s housewife. So here I am deciding that I'm going to start a business. I know nothing about money management, and I know nothing about business, and I know nothing about starting a healthcare business. So there I am. And I just, like I said, I have this thing inside of me that I just don't give up. And so I came across your videos, and they were about the brain and how to finagle your subconscious to work in your favor. And being a therapist, I have a degree in science, and I loved anatomy and physiology, and I remember, the reticular activating system, things like that, I learned about and I remembered. And so what you taught really hit home for me. And I said, this guy with his vision board and his brain talk, I said, there's something to this John Assaraf. So I went and I Googled you, and I got on your website and I bought Winning the Game of Money. And this was, right at the beginning when I started my business. And so that program is so full of information that I never really let it go. I get in the exercises, and I do them every day. I do week 8 in case anybody's interested, but it's my morning routine. And just not having the education, not having the typical upbringing, I had a lot of self-confidence issues. I didn't think I was smart enough to be who I am today and to be that person that you were telling me I could be. It took a lot of work. And I always say that you helped me form my self-esteem. You helped me figure out that I can dream and that I can have those things that I'm writing on that piece of paper. So you did give me a lot of my dreams you gave me.
I'm so proud of you for recognizing that you needed help and then stepping up and saying yes to yourself and really learning how to switch on your brain success switch, which we've talked about, in our programs. There's a piece here that I remember you sharing with me, and that is you mentioned before your husband was vehemently opposed to you starting a business, and you felt insecure and you didn't have the knowledge and the skills, and you've upgraded your knowledge and skills, which I'm so proud of you for. And I also know, and this is a beautiful twist in the tale, that somebody recently started working for you.
Well, John, coming from living on the floor and without heat, we had a lot of money fears. The more success that we gathered, the more it hung over our head that the floor would drop from under us and that it would be taken away. And so we both did Winning the Game of Fear. And my husband, I don't understand, but within 3 weeks of doing that program, he was a different man. And he quit his job of 10 years, and now he is the president of Freedom Rehab, and he takes care of all the finances for the company. He's brilliant at what he does, and I'll tell you, John, what I do on a Monday afternoon, I'm on my boat. On a Tuesday afternoon, I'm at the beach. On a Wednesday afternoon, I'm riding my bike. And this is the life that we have now. My business is on autopilot with my staff. I have a director of operations, and we pay her very well, and she takes care of everything. And she has the support staff that she needs. And so what we do now is the executive functions. Our involvement is at the highest level, and we're able to live a beautiful life in a beautiful home with beautiful cars and beautiful things. And if you look at where I was unloading trucks, to driving my Mercedes, to my boat on a Monday afternoon, I have to say, I never would have gotten that far without the bridge of NeuroGym. If you do invest in John's program and you do invest in John, he is going to teach you so much about running your business, not even just so much as believing you can and setting the goals, but he literally can teach you how to write sales copy, how to organize your business, the structure, measuring things. The degree that he can get involved if you invest in his programs is really the difference for me. Everything I know about writing an ad for a paper, I learned from John. It's just start with John and you can definitely end where I am, because I can tell you that when I started this business, I knew next to nothing about running a business. And John, I do want to tell you some good news. I am starting a second business.
Nice.
And the thing that, somebody asked me what was the biggest takeaway that I got from winning the game of money and NeuroGym. And of course I was stumped because there was quite a lot. But I really think that how it's structuring my approach to my new business, it's effortless, it's organized, it's doing the right things in the right order, at the right time, just the way you taught. Now before, I learned here, I made mistakes here, I learned here, I made mistakes here, and it was a pretty long road. But now I am able to take all of the tools that you gave me, and it's seamless, and it's enjoyable, and it's fun. And had I not learned what I learned from you, I wouldn't be just enjoying the process. And that's what you gave me.
I love it. If I was to ask you one final question, as a woman who maybe had self-doubt and fears and a lack of skills and not having the support of her significant other, in your case, your husband, how do you feel today with who you have become and how you are showing up for your family?
Well, I have a 15-year-old daughter, and to be that age in the social media society that we're in, self-esteem is very fragile. And she sees her mother put on her suit and her high heels and drive up to her business and manage the people around her with authority. And I think that what I'm showing her is that anything is possible, and that if you want to be anything you want to be, just look at mom and dad, because of where we have been to where we are now. I think just the example that I'm setting for my daughter has to be the most important thing to me. She kind of jabs at me a lot about being a high school dropout. She'll kind of be like, Mom, do you know this math? Because, you didn't do that in school. So she's a little, what sometimes, but she can see the life that we have. is nothing but good things for her.
I love it. Well, Brenda, I am so proud of you. I am so thankful for you. And thanks for showing other women and men what is possible when you focus on upgrading your mindset, upgrading your skill set, and then applying what you learn and getting yourself in the environment for achieving success, because you certainly have gone from a reality that may not have been a reality you wanted to a fantasy life that's only getting better and better. So thank you so much for being a participant on our 10th annual Brainathon. You are why we do what we do. People like you that step up, say yes to themselves, and really take inspired action. So thank you so very much. And everybody, please give her a round of thank yous, high fives, and if she's inspired you, let her know in the chat right now. Thank you so much, Brenda.
Thank you, John. It's been my pleasure, and thank you for everything you've done.
Wasn't that awesome, everyone? Woo-hoo! My team just loves it. Now, let me share some with you. After being on this beautiful blue planet for 61 years, I know, hard for you to believe, I've come to know that everyone has one of three futures awaiting them. You have one of three futures awaiting you. Let me explain. In future number one, you watch the Brainathon today, you learn some stuff, and yeah, you get motivated, but you don't say yes to yourself and you don't take action. Other than to say, let me think about it. I don't have time. I can't afford this. More stories, more fears and excuses to hold you back and keep you stuck. And with that decision, there's a future that if you think forward, you can predict, right? And here's what that may look like. Think about this. How will you feel 6 months from now or a year from now if things are exactly the same as they are in your life right now? You're still earning the same amount of money. You still have the same goals and dreams, but nothing has changed in your life. Would you be proud of yourself and feel like the last 6 or 12 months were awesome? Do you feel great about that future? Yes or no in the chat. Now, future number two. You enjoy your time today, but you don't take action again. And your current situation, unfortunately, your income and your life actually gets worse and declines. So no, it doesn't stay the same. It gets worse and declines. And maybe, just maybe, you have a setback or an emergency that you are not prepared for. Then what? What happens then? Now, let's imagine future number three. And before you imagine this other future, I want you to imagine the end result of future number 1 and 2 and consider this. By the way, this is called mental contrasting. Consider this. Are you okay with future number 1 or 2 where things get worse or things stay the same? Knowing fully well that the only things holding you back right now are in your control. And it's your choice right now if you want to break free and create the future you want. So let's look at a different future. Today, you say, I bet on me. You say, today is the day I say yes to inner-sizing my brain and recalibrating my self-image. Today I say yes to recalibrating my beliefs and upgrading my self-confidence. You say, today I commit to achieving my goals no matter what. Today you say, I commit to living my life to the fullest, to have more, be more, give more, and become more, so that I have more freedom and I can give that freedom to my partner, my children, and others. See, this is in your control. And imagine if you say yes to yourself today and every day, and that was your focus, if it permeated every cell in your body and excited you so much, you would be motivated. You jump out of bed and take action, inspired action every day, and you do what you need to do at your own speed. You make progress, right? Well, the only way you move towards what you desire and move away from anything that's holding you back, your limitations, is you make a decision today. And imagine having me to listen to every day, guiding you, teaching you, and being your greatest inner size coach and your greatest cheerleader. Listen, yes, you have to do this for yourself, but you don't have to do it by yourself. Let me share something with you. You've just experienced a mini inner size in action, where we used your imagination, your self-talk, and emotional regulation to get you excited about your potential future and move you away from the future you don't want. Doesn't it feel great when you focus on what you want versus on what you don't want? Imagine me working with you, training your brain for the next 6 months. It'll be you and me and our experts coaching you. And what I'm inviting you to step up to today is the Winning the Game of Money program. And this is how you're going to put yourself on the predictable path to success. And yes, I know there's going to be challenges, but you will be so confident and so certain in your abilities to overcome them because you're going to put yourself in the environment of working with me and our team of VIP experts and the other members who are all lifting each other as they climb. And as you inner size and flip on your brain success switch, you will also discover how to turn off the circuits and limitations that are keeping you stuck right now. Yes, you will upgrade your skills, and yes, you will upgrade your daily habits so that you're in control doing the right things. Listen, just like our members you've met today, they're not getting paid to be here. They're doing this because they, like you, were on a brain-a-thon. They said yes to themselves. They said, yes, I'm committed. And then they succeeded, and now they want you to. That's part of what we teach, is we do it ourselves, then we teach others, our families, our children, our friends, and even people that we don't know. So, which future do you want more of? The same future you have right now and you're on the path to, a worse future, or the third future that you just imagined, that you and I painted for you, where you're achieving goal after goal after goal. Remember earlier, I asked you if you're interested or you are committed. The question that changed my life with Mr. Brown, are you interested or are you committed to your success and your dream life? And that all it takes is making that commitment right now. All you've got to do is get started, and together we'll help you keep going. Are you willing to do that for yourself and your family? Because with my irresistible money back guarantee, you can invest in yourself today, start today risk-free, and try the program for 30 days before you decide if you want to keep it. You're getting over $20,000 in bonuses and gifts today with Inner Size, the VIP coaching and accountability, and the expert bonuses. You're getting the 100 Days to Financial Success video training program and the incomparable $1 Million Success Library, which means, in short, it is everything you need to turn your reality into your fantasy. We're going to upgrade your mindset, your skill set, and your actions. Now, I know that some of you think that I'm trying to sell you something. I know that sometimes I may be overly excited, and some of our guests may be overly excited as well. And the truth is, you're right. I'm coming clean right now, and I am trying to sell you something. It's just not what you think. I'm trying to sell you on you betting on yourself. I'm trying to sell you on shattering your limitations and start living the life you are meant to live, the life you dream of for yourself and your family. Frankly, I don't need your money. My company is doing quite well, and we have over 100,000 people that are inner-sizing and getting coached by us in one way or another around the world. I created this program because I have been where you are, and I can get you. My team and I can get you to where you want to be. And my promise is this: faster and easier than you ever imagined possible. Just look at what Irene has achieved with us. See what Veronique has achieved with us and Zinab has achieved. I have an addiction. My addiction is to see people break free. In fact, it's more than an addiction, it's an obsession. And this is why I write books. This is why I go on hundreds of podcasts. This is why I get into movies. And this is why I started NeuroGym 10 years ago. Because I know how hard it was when I was struggling, when my parents couldn't help me. And I know how great it felt when my mentors helped me make my first million. I remember how once I became financially free, having this feeling that if I lost everything, I could never lose the blueprint, the mindset, the skill set, and the actions required of how I got there. That you can never take away from anyone. And now I'm teaching it to my children. They're doing great. To family members, to millions of people around the world, and to you today. And I want to share that blueprint with you, the blueprint to your freedom and your peace of mind. So, yes, I'm trying to sell you to believe in yourself and your future again, not the future of doing the same things over and over again, not the future of things getting worse, but the future of you thriving instead of surviving, you being unstuck and achieving your potential instead of standing on the edge of it, regardless of the circumstances or environment. I will show you the way. Our experts will show you the way. Inside the program, we reveal the secrets and give you the shortcuts to success. But it does not work if you don't commit to you. You have to take the first step. We'll show you how to take another 10, then 20, and 50, and 100 at your own pace. It's fun, it's easy, we're doing it together, we lift each other up as we climb, so you have no more excuses. I know you may not know how to do this, but that's where I come in and my team comes in. So click on the link today and join. Let's get you inner-sizing tonight before we fill up. Let's get you upgrading your skills so you take action, and let's help you become the person you are meant to become, filled with love and enthusiasm, achieving goals, and knowing what to do when things are challenging. It requires an upgrade in your mindset, an upgrade in your skill set, and yes, an upgrade in what you do. The good news is, I have the blueprint for you. You just need to make a decision, say yes to yourself, say I'm committed, follow through, and let's do this together. Click on the link, get started, and we will see you on the session that we are starting to kick this off on Monday. All right, so that takes all of my love and joy and energy to do. And what I want you to know is I care about you. I love who you are, and I love who you're becoming, and I love that you're here. So now, love yourself enough to give yourself this gift. You deserve it. You know it. That's why you're here.
Hey, wow, did you see the comments during our last segment? The chat was on fire. When John started talking about future number 3, that resonated with a lot of people. It for sure resonated with me. I was sitting here taking notes. I was like, I can't catch up fast enough with this. This is unbelievable. We are being offered so much value right now. You and I are learning. We are taking steps, committing to our future. If you're feeling that, write yes in the chat. If you enjoyed that right now, just write yes, commit. We're on this journey together. Constantine said, I'm committed to Future 3, John. See you on Monday. Monday's going to be a great day for some of us. I'm so excited. Hopefully for you too. All right, now, who wants to win our next big cash prize? The answer to our first question is inner size. Pat yourself on the back if you got that one right. Here's your next chance. Correctly answer this question in the chat and you can be our next $1,000 cash winner. Trivia number 2. Inner size will help you flip on your brain's switch. Inner size will help you flip on your brain's switch. What's the missing word? What is that switch called? Type your answer in now for a chance to win $1,000. And don't forget, at the end of today's show, you'll have the chance to win $10,000 cash prize in our grand prize giveaway. Now, here's a message from someone we are so proud of.
We started a family business together called Cosqueñitas. That business started off pretty good, and unfortunately, it failed. Things just went to nothing from there. It was probably the worst moment of my life. Hopeless, completely hopeless. There was everything I had tried had failed. This isn't for me, and the minimum wage paying $1, $2, it was just like, what do I do with my life? I remember just seeing my mom cry. One day I came home, I'm like, Mom, what's wrong? And she's like, we have no money to eat tomorrow. And I had a 50,000 peso bill, which is like $10, $15. That's all I had on me. And I just gave that to my mom, and like, we're both crying together. And I decided I wanted something different. I wanted to do something for them. And there's this program by this guy called John Ashraf called Winning the Game. And I'm like, sold, let's sign up right now. 7 weeks later, I had a job offer for $3,000 working remotely for a US company. So that was a 3X in 7 weeks. Now, I would do these inner sizes day and night. I would listen to the skills and knowledge stuff every day, like take detailed notes, my affirmations, like I just felt this was my way out. Like this is it. I don't know why, I just felt it. This is it. So I was like, I'm going 100%. My income is around $6,000-$7,000 a month. My goal is to get to 10,000. I know I'm on the right track. I don't know if I've showed you this here, but I have my definite chief aim. And then this here is like my identity, and I don't know if you know that guy right there. His name's John Ashraf, and now I'm on this call with him, so I'm definitely doing something right. And if you're listening to me here, just take my word for it, it works.
Coming up now, his incredible story of going from murder and minimum wage to earning millions of dollars a year and living his fantasy life has impacted so many people around the globe. This dear friend of ours is one of the most in-demand speakers and financial success experts on the planet after building a multi-million-dollar brand and business from scratch. Give a huge Brainathon welcome to the genius of transformational success, Billy Jean.
Hey everyone, this is going to be epic. How do I know that? Because my friend Billy Jean Shaw is in the house. Murder, minimum wage, millions. He had every reason not to succeed, and he didn't take that option. So we're going to get into a bit of his life story and a bit of the epic success that he is having right now and has had for many, many years. So Billy Jean, thank you so much. 10th annual Brainathon celebration. Great to have you on.
First of all, 10?
10.
10? Like, that's insane. So I feel like we have to over deliver. I appreciate you having me. It just feels good to be here. Let's get it.
Listen, you and I became friends just in the last couple of years. We've heard of each other for, a bunch of time.